સંધાન. ઓલ ગુજરાત ઇન્ટિગ્રેટેડ ક્લાસરૂમ.
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.
Good afternoon. Myself, Mr. Vispi Kasad, Assistant Professor in English, Arts and Commerce College, Chauvisi, Navsari.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Urvashi H. Dave. I am from Navsari, Arts and Commerce College, Chauvisi. Our sir will start the lecture.
So, the topic is the stream of consciousness novel. Generally, stream of consciousness is used to depict the multitudinous, countless, unlimited thoughts and feelings which passes through the mind. Now we'll move on to the definition of the term. So the definition of stream of consciousness is, as Encyclopedia Britannica defines, stream of consciousness as follows: narrative technique in non-dramatic fiction intended to render the flow of myriad impressions, that is visual, auditory, physical, associative and subliminal, that impinge on the consciousness of an individual and form part of his awareness along with the trend of his rational thoughts. Here myriad means countless thoughts that goes through the mind, and subliminal is the conscious perception. We'll move to the next slide. Now the stream of consciousness by William James. The term was first used by American philosopher and psychologist William James in the Principles of Psychology. It has since been adopted to describe a narrative method in modernization or in modern fiction. We'll move on to William James, his views on the stream of consciousness. He has used the phrase to describe the unbroken flow of perceptions, thoughts and feelings in the waking mind. Here waking mind means conscious mind. So there is a kind of constant flow of thoughts, perception, images that passes through the mind. It is as normal as when we are working on one thing, but at the same time many different thoughts passes through our mind. Those thoughts which may relate different work which are pending. We'll move on to next slide. Now William James writes about the stream of consciousness as consciousness then does not appear to itself as chopped up in bit. It is nothing joined. It flows. A river or a stream are the metaphors by which it is most naturally described. In talking of it hereafter, let's call it the stream of thoughts, consciousness or subjective life. This can be explained as different thoughts that comes in our mind all at the same time. They flow like a river or a stream. It is like a flow of water running down smoothly through any area, and thus it is also called the stream of thoughts, that is our consciousness. Now for stream of consciousness as a narrative technique, I would like to request Urvashi madam to take this point further.
Next slide, please. The stream of consciousness is one kind of a narrative technique which is used by the modern novelist. Here the modern novelist means a 20th century novelist. Let's read the slide. Stream of consciousness is a narrative technique that gives the impression of a mind at work, jumping from one observation, sensation or reflection to the next. These varied elements are usually expressed in a flow of words without conventional transition. We can say that everything presented in stream of consciousness narrative technique is unorganized images. As life is not organized itself, so the whatever is presented in this technique by the novelist is the unorganized messages, unorganized images, and that is used to depict a particular character in this novel. Let's move on to another slide.
Yeah, I would like to say something over here, ma'am.
Okay.
So, here, as jumping from one observation, sensation, or reflection to the next, here, jumping from one observation to another means, for example, a person sitting in the office listening to what his clients is explaining, but at the same time, he observes many different things like who is passing through his door, or he also tells somebody to cool down the AC. Like, it's a flow of thoughts. It's a flow of
That's
thoughts,
right.
perception.
Like just now where we are sitting, we are giving the lectures.
Yes.
But there may be many other thoughts in
Thoughts.
our mind right at the same time. So that is right. Let's move on to the another. Okay. So the next point is the influence of modern psychoanalytical school. There are influences of the different critical schools on this narrative technique, and first of all we will discuss the influence of modern psychoanalytical school. Stream of consciousness novel is a modern development and reflects recent interest in the psychoanalytical school of Jung, Freud and Adler. The concerned novelist tries to discover a pattern in apparently confused collection of impressions, memories and obsessive images. Let's see it in detail. See what happens that in the beginning of the 20th century, the influence of the thinkers and the psychologists like Freud, William James and Henry can be seen on this narrative technique. Control being the brought on by finding certain obsessive images to repeat themselves, as in Faulkner's The Sound and Fury. Freud has postulated two areas of mind. One is the waking state, and below it is the some layer of subconscious mind. And over these novelists who are using this narrative technique of stream of consciousness, they are depicting this subconscious level, whatever thoughts are coming in this subconscious mind. Let's move on to the another, sir. Now the influence, as we have seen the first, the influence of the psychoanalytical school. Now the influence of impressionistic technique. The stream of consciousness novel and narrative technique has been analyzed by a few critics in terms of impressionistic painting and referred to as the post-impressionistic novel. J. Isaac writes, the problem of 20th century novelists was same as that of 20th century painters. Now what is impressionistic technique? Now what happened that these term is originally came from the art of painting, and at that time the literary critics have related it to the literature. Now whatever they happened in the art of painting, they had that kind of impressionistic influence. They tried to criticize the stream of consciousness novels with regard to influence of the impressionistic technique. Now but we can say that the new technique is not much indebted to impressions in the school of painting, because the new technique was itself a manifestation of a new awareness of reality as time and free will. Please sir, switch on to the next one. After the impressionistic influence and the psychoanalytical influence, we have come to the influence of symbolism. Now another school of criticism relates the new technique to the symbolistic modes of expression. This technique shows that the impressions of symbolistic mode of expressions. This technique actually the symbolistic movement is originally, I think, it is related to the poetry.
Poetry, yeah.
Right, it is related to the poetry, but some critics, as we have earlier seen, that some critics tried to relate this narrative technique to the to the impressionistic, some tried to relate it to the psychological novel. Like that, some critics have tried to analyze this narrative mode with the symbolistic movement, and they have criticized these novels with regards to the symbolism. Right, and this technique shows the impressions of symbolistic modes of expression. But I don't think personally that you can say that it is a symbolistic novel, right? So it is used, but different critics in different eras, they have tried differently to analyze these kinds of novels, the stream of consciousness novels. And sometimes we see the novelist like Virginia Woolf, they use the kind of images again and again, right? So sometimes we get that kind of impression that this is happening, that this is symbolism. The writer is using deliberately this kind of symbols. And repetition of one or another kind of symbol again and again, that leads one to realize that this is happening. Okay, let's move on to another, sir. See, as we have talked, narrative technique has been criticized by some critics with reference to the symbolist movement. So one of the critics named Edmund Wilson, can we show the slide, please? Okay. No. Okay. So Edmund Wilson, one of the critics, says regarding this device of symbolism used in this narrative technique, speaking of characters in Ulysses, when we are admitted to the mind of any one of them, we are in the world as complex and spatial, a world sometimes as fanatic or obscure as that of a symbolist poet. So what kind of poetry, what symbolism you see in a symbolist poet or a symbolist dramatist, that we can see. Some critics says that can be seen in some of the novels of stream of consciousness. Next slide will be handled by Vispi, sir.
So now I will explain interior monologue technique. Now, stream of consciousness is a common narrative technique in the modern novel to convey all the contents of character's mind, memory, sense, perception, feeling, intuitions, thoughts in the relation to the stream of experiences as it passes by, often at random. But sometimes the interior monologue is described as the exact representation of the process of consciousness. But because perceptions, mental images, thoughts itself are non-verbal, so the author can present these elements only by converting them into verbal equivalents. I can say that it attempts to reproduce the flow of consciousness in the minds of the characters. There is a kind of flow. They are not joined, but it's a flow kind of thing. Further, I would like to explain the example of interior monologue. So, interior monologue technique, an example from James Joyce Ulysses. Let us see this example. Pineapple rock, lemon plat, butterscotch, a sugar sticky girl shoveling scoopfuls of cream for a Christian brother, some school treat, bad for their tummies, lozenge and comfit manufacturer to His Majesty the King, God, save, our, sitting on his throne, sucking red jujubes white. So, what we mean by this is thoughts, images, flows. They are not joined, it flows. It passes through the mind like a stream, and so it is connected to this. Now, I would like to go for the classification of interior monologue. So, for classification of interior monologue, I would refer Robert Humphrey. Robert Humphrey classifies the interior monologue in two categories. First is direct interior monologue, and second, indirect interior monologue. I will explain first the direct interior monologue. In this direct interior monologue technique, the reader lends directly into the mind of the character. Means there is no comment by the author. James Joyce has employed this kind of monologue in his novel. So, direct interior monologue, there is a connection, direct connection between the readers and the characters. And this technique directly joins readers and characters, and here the readers can easily know the ideas, thoughts that are going through the character's mind. This technique is really very effective, and many novelists has used it very often. In opposition to this, there is indirect interior monologue. In indirect interior monologue, it is completely opposite to the direct interior monologue, as here the author is the mediator. Now, this technique has been used by Dorothy Richardson and Virginia Woolf. It is the author who takes